and welcome to episode 64 with myself, Chris Hume, the legend Don Maguire, and our guest today is none other than Anthony, the Yorkshire Gladiator. Holmes, welcome to the show, mate. Appreciate you giving us your time.
Thanks for having us on. It's my pleasure.
Well, mate, I kind of want to take you back just a few weeks, to BKB 26. It was a hell of a war. You had an American in Chad Kelly come across the pond to face you for the world title. What did that? I saw a couple of your interviews, and you were quite humble about, the aspects of respect and things towards him. One correlated to me, and I feel it because you're the champion. You said, I don't want to see my title on a plane going to America. So you called this fight a legacy fight. Take me through that thought perception of Anthony Holmes.
Where I've come from, through what I've achieved over the last couple of years, not many have done. I mean, given my age, we're retired for 6 years. I've come from a counsellor state, on and off, up and down with depression. I've been in and out of prison, and I managed to turn my life around. BKB gave me an opportunity. Like I said, I think 3-4 years ago, I just started competing again after a few wise words from a few friends and my coach and that. And then got my first fight at BKB were British title shot, and I was expected to get run over, basically. And every fight I've had has been a title fight. I'm Middleweight Champion now, 2 British and 1 world.
Respect.
So from where I've come from, I just want to create. I want to get into. I've not got long in the career because I'm 37 now. I can only see myself fight till I'm 40 because I want to keep. Obviously, I want to be able to wipe my own ass at the end of the day. Not be dribbling. But obviously it's a dangerous sport, as you can see. There's not many fights you can have wars like that and come away uninjured, because you're going to leave a part yourself in the ring. So try and get it, the bare minimum. And if you see my other fights, everything's been clear victories, clean cut, and I've been asking for a test, and Chad Kelly definitely gave me that.
Yeah, I want to correlate into that because I've received quite a bit of disrespect on my end, and I want people to know it no way has come from you. You've been nothing but cordial and polite and forthwith. A lot of people are saying, and I love this analogy, but I want your thought perception on it. They say a draw on foreign soil is a win in disguise. There's no dispute that you and Chad Kelly had a 7-round war.
Yeah.
How, when you sit back now and you look at that fight, do you in your heart feel that it was a draw?
To be honest with you, I've watched that fight at least 100 times, and I thought I took the first 4. I think Chad started coming back into the fight in round 3, back end of round 3. I took those clearly. If you watch back, the shots what landed clean. He ended up falling to the other side of the ring a couple of times. I landed the cleaner shots. And then 3rd round, the doctor looking at him in the nose, he got a bit of extra time, and I started thinking it was going to be stopped. Obviously, I was cut at that time, and my hand was cut as well, so I couldn't even jab anymore. The doctor started looking at me. So first I started letting my energy drop when I thought that he had a bit of extra time in corner. I thought, it's over, they're going to stop it here. And then I started mentally thinking, no, it's stopped, it's done. And then when he come back out, I thought, fair enough. But then the doctors were checking me in corners as well. So I've gone in and I've tried rushing and then just going for finish, but I forced it work and just with the styles as well. I started going for. We were just clashing in the middle and just smothering. So it was just getting very messy, which I think I can see Chad. Don't get me wrong. End of the fight, I had nothing left. I was absolutely knackered, but I put that down to a few other things pre-fight. I was coaching that night as well, so I had a bit of adrenaline jump, shouting outside at ring with lad who were coaching. Few things I know what to be changing for next step fight, but whatever I fight, I've got utmost respect because whatever we do, we put it all in there. And I underestimated Chad, his toughness. I thought anybody else, I know if those shots had caught him with, especially uppercuts I caught him with, I'd have stopped him. So for him, it shows his fitness. We recovered after the 3rd round because he would a bit blowing, took to the 3rd round, and then he's got his second wind. Then fourth, he come out, close gap. Me watching back personally, I don't think there were much between fourth, but I still took the fourth. The fifth, it could have gone either. And the sixth, I definitely give to Chad. Seventh, I thought I would absolutely spent, but I thought I'd put the cleaner. The more output and the cleaner shots in. Again, very messy. The last 2 rounds especially, very clashy, very messy, very brawly. But
I want to commend you. I want to commend you on your attitude and your take on the fight. See, one thing that most people here in America don't understand is you go to the UK and you fight a fighter from the UK.
Yep.
And a draw is called. Generally, you're going to get booed. Generally, you're going to get yelled at, and because the Skelters and everybody over there, they're not. Most people don't understand English manner like I do. Yeah. But after your 7-round war, when it was declared a draw, not a single boo. The crowd both loved you guys.
Yeah, I think not surprised. I think we left everything in there, to be honest. I mean, me especially, I had nothing. I won't lie about. I was exhausted come 7th. I was exhausted in 6th. Again, there's a few things I'll change on that leading up to the fight, and a few things playing into that. But it won't. I'm looking forward. I think we both deserve a rematch. One for the toughness of Chad and lasting 7 rounds, coming all that way. I did believe I could stop him, and I fell short on stop of him, and then I let him get into his rhythm and messed me on up. So I think I was outboxing him easily for the first 3. I just started. I got this water after it coming to like with cuts what had accumulated. I don't know if you can see, but I did split my knuckle first round.
Yeah.
So that was gashed open. You can see it on videos in corner. They do it on. That was split open, so I couldn't jab anymore. So I was just throwing my hooks, trying to wide up, trying to hit him with this part of knuckles instead of jabbing and hitting with that. So it was a bit, and then like I say, it was getting messy and predictable, readable. A few factors, but then again, there were a few factors on Chad's side because he was cut there. So, like I said, we need a rematch. We definitely need a rematch because there's factors on both sides. Obviously, your side at Pond believe he won, my side at Pond believe I won. So it's just got a bit. There were two gladiators went at it there, and I've got no but respect for anybody who will fight, but we need a clear victor, that's for sure.
Yes. Before I hand it to Chris, let me ask you one more question because the thoughts were correlated of you coming across the pond in October. Yeah. And let's face it, the rules in the United Kingdom are different than the rules in America. How ready is Anthony Holmes to step into the trigon? Because the trigon's a beast, brother. The corners are deep. It's a mathematical equation. There's a center sweet spot where you stand and bang. But if you fall into the corner, you're going to have to fight your way out. How much of Anthony Holmes is looking forward to coming transatlantic to step in the trigon?
I do. I have actually struggling to get into America because I've got a criminal record, like I spoke to her before. I've been in and out of prison a few times for fighting, especially in my younger days. And given off, it's been GBH and ABH. So I do have to do a bit of. I would have to go to American Embassy and stuff like that to be, but I'm wanting to get that fight back this year if possible. So,
well, in all fairness, Chad Kelly said he's willing to come back across the pond to fight you again.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's an awesome attitude. That's like I say, I've got no but respect, and this is what we will do it by the end of this year, definitely. Because I think both sides. We just need a rematch, not only for us, just for a clear victor, but for public as well. Because there's not one person who said that would have born in fight. So, and all the interviews, what I've said previous, these at fights, these at challenges I want. I've only got a short stint in sport, and my main goal is to reach all at fame. The only way of standing out is having battles like that. So, hopefully, it's not quite as messy, and we can. Redo it, go back to the drawing board and correct a few things. So,
yeah. Well, I'm very respectful, and I'm a Fort Worth man. I'm honest about my opinions, and I don't think your mates, like you said, everybody thinks both sides won. You know, and I did make a fair analogy on my show, and I did say that I felt that Chad Kelly won, but I'm an honest man. I'm an open man. You know, everybody sees a fight different. The only one that really can give their true thought perceptions on the fight isn't even really the judges. It's the third man in the ring, the referee. You know, so when you correlate it that way, anybody's opinion, everybody has an opinion, like we all have assholes. You know, it doesn't mean two shits. But what you did that night, and I'll give credit to you because you're a hell of a warrior. You know, to step in the sport like you did is tremendous. And to have a war like that with BKB is tremendous, man. You know, I like I said, I'm open, but I think that was a hell of a war. I'm like you. I think a rematch is a must. That's the only way we're going to settle this. But I'm going to let Chris talk to you for a little bit because I kind of stole the mic a little bit.
No, it's not a problem. I was just trying to share out the show to other pages, and then Facebook kicked me out, and then it's kicked the show off Facebook. So I was just trying to redirect everyone back onto to watch the show. So it's been like you guys have been talking, I'm trying to listen and trying to sort that out, thinking shit. I think I've sorted it. Anthony, take me back to the early beginnings of you. You know, you just said about all the sort of things, the trial and tribulations you've had to get through to get to where you are. What interested you in combat sports as a whole?
I mean, I've always had since I was 19, I started amateur boxing. And then I went into MMA, ended up 6-0 in MMA, got signed with Bama, went to and then from there, opponents kept dropping out. They kept every two asking me to get ready for next show. So a couple of months on trot, they're asking me to stay fight fit. And eventually, my knee ended up blowing out. Relationship that I was in at the time, my head didn't handle it well. I went on, I turned to drink and drugs again, like I'd done in the previous years when I was struggling. I went off rails and I retired for 6 years. I was in a bad state of mind. And then from there, because I don't know how to deal with things properly, never had done. It's only till I got into my 30s I started to learn how to control, you know, my emotions, how to deal with, you know, life struggles. I ended up in prison, and then, like I said, I turned into my 30s, and then just a bit of sense kicked in, to be honest with you. Surrounded myself with the right people, started going back training, and then my coach pulled me to the side. He said, "Do you fancy turning pro boxing, or there's a straight in at BKB title shot?" Obviously, stage where BKB is, I'll have that British title, please. And I won every round, 4 knockdowns, and he didn't even hardly touch me. So I know I've always been capable. I'm quite comfortable in fights. I've like you've seen, I don't mind. I get my water down. I'm quite stubborn. I don't have a quit in me in that side, and I'm very good at learning and adapting. And unfortunately, that night, last fight, I tend to let my mind get the better of me, should I say, in getting dragged in, tried rushing, tried speeding stuff up. And then there's a good saying of it, is it like, just because you're doing a lot more, it don't mean you're getting more done. And that's exactly what happened that night. I was forcing more, but it doesn't mean I was actually causing a lot less to be done. So it's all learning, it's all experience. And I've been around talented people. I've shared mats with a lot of talented people, UFC fighters. You know, I've always been able to hold my own, regardless. So, I've got a good coach, Neil Wayne, again, ex-UFC, and I've got that older head. You know, pennies drop with a lot of things. You know, I know what's important. I was never disciplined in my early 20s and stuff. I was still going out drinking, and now I take even all the small percentages. Like, I'm not kidding. I have watched that fight back now at least 100 times, and I've completely dissected it and know exactly where my mind was in certain moments. And it won't happen again. So, and I know exactly he'll be correcting his, you know, where he thought he went wrong, or he'll be correct. So I've been meant to see a good, but we both adjusted, and see us both got it again. So, like I say, it's these are fights. I will say one thing. I think BKB downplayed it a little bit, say it was a cross-Atlantic fight for a world title, first ever, and we should have been main event. You know that, and we didn't get much mention about it. Which it's an historical fight, to be honest with you, with the two cross promotions. So, yeah, on that part, we're a bit disappointed on. I'm hoping next time for rematch, given the war what it did cause first one, I'm hoping that they respect it and give it its credit.
Would you be comfortable, obviously, going over to America and fighting in the Trigon?
Yeah, obviously, I would like a lot of time in the Trigon.
Yeah.
Get used to it. I'd have to build a ring. I won't just go over there like I had Rico training with me a lot for that last fight, and yeah, I'd have to understand the rule set properly because he knocked him through ropes and he turned his back thinking it'd be a count, and then he looked round and he's there back in, and then once he did get it, he was disorientated and he kept handing up back in the corner again. So I would put the hours in a triangle ring on that rule set, freehand.
You know, let me ask you a question because this is where I think a lot of the fight could be figured out. A lot of the fight could be segregated, and different correlation of thoughts can come from it. Now, I don't particularly care for the referee that refereed your fight. You know, when I watched it, there's a lot of times that there were situations where you would be up against the ropes and he would break the fight and put you back in the center. And he did the same, you know, with Chad. You know, the whole purpose of a bare knuckle fight is to let you guys fight.
Yeah.
You know, what is your thought process on how the referee handled the fight that night?
We don't like the clinch in BKB. They like to stop the clinch straight away. So as soon as you're into locks, that's their rule set. I was getting quite frustrated with Chad quite a lot. I think that led to me overcommitting a bit as well because I did take quite a few shots. I didn't complain on night, but if you watch back on video, all back of my head were there with lump from all back at head shots, which it's fighting, it's going to happen, it's no tickling contest. But given rule set, I don't think you're allowed shots at back at head in your rule set. I don't know BYB, and I did
not even here.
Yeah, all back in my head, all down there, and all down my neck. Where it would look like somebody been playing whack-a-mole on my head. But
yeah,
it's one of them. Like I say, if you look back as well, that's first time Clive's ref me as well, and he kept giving me a bollocking for my hands open, but it's bare knuckle, and that's how I've always fought with my hands open. And Baz, who passed away, bless him, never had those issues as long as I'm closing my hands before punches connect. That's all that matters. But he kept saying I needed to hold my hands. Well, it's not boxing. We haven't got gloves on. Why should I hold my hands clenched all the time? So I was getting frustrated with Clive as well. I actually had a bit of a go of him after as well. But that's the first time he's ref me, to be honest with you. And I'm quite frustrated with him on the night. But he's doing his job. He's doing what he sees right. But yeah, I were in disagreements with quite a few stuff myself. A bit frustrated.
Yeah.
We had been a messy fight. It was a frustrating fight in its sense. And one thing I did take his toughness. I underestimated his toughness, to be honest with you. And again, that's my own doing. I once did that in my past, and I said I'd never do it again, and it slowly snuck in there again, but it won't happen again.
Yeah. One thing I wanna say to you, and this is truly from my heart.
Yeah.
You know, after the fight, you sat down side by side with Chad Kelly.
Yeah.
Mate, you're one of the truest forms of the sport that I love. You didn't sit down there like a Conor McGregor would and talk about Chad's family and this and that. You sat down like a man, side by side, with another man that you just went to war for 7 rounds, and both of you paid absolute mutual respect to each other. And I commend you for that, bro, because a lot of times here in the States, you know, we get these fighters that they don't want to realize that, yeah, I just went to war with another man, and we're going to walk away as mates. You know, there's no hate. The hate was settled inside of the ring. What you did was first class, because I've interviewed hundreds of thousands of fighters in the last 19 years, and I got to tell you, I have to commend you on your professionalism, your attitude. It's second to none. You know, what I really love about who you are, and see, all these people came at us to get you on the show, but if you look in your inbox, I had already sent you a message to come on the show. You know, I did that before any of your people contacted me because I wanted to share the other side of the story. Because 2 things you brought up, that you'd been in prison. You know, You look at Juan Archuleta, you look at several other fighters that are in the sports in the United States. They all came from prison and they made their life better. They got a second opportunity and they made the best of it. And that's what I see you doing, mate. I see you realizing that you're not that young lad anymore. And now it's time for you to get your life where it needs to be. What sits in the heart of Anthony Holmes before BKB, but what made you realize that you had to grow up, you had to become that man? Because ultimately that decision put you on this path to greatness.
Yeah, I've got a 16-year-old daughter. She's been loving my life, my partner. I've never had what should I say, support from my partners before, which I have this time. And yeah, it's I got to a stage, is what am I doing? I was depressed, mental health. I've always suffered with my mental health up and down. The only time I'm happy is when I'm in fighting, to be honest with you. I've got focus and I've got goals to aim towards. And penny dropped. From the area I am, I've got quite a bad reputation for fighting, for violence, caught up in wrong crowds. And I want to remember for good. And now I'm getting recognised. I'm trying to give back for the community. I help kids, work with kids. Like you say about trash talk, I've got no intention of trash talking anybody, because we all put ourselves through absolute hell to get in that ring and then compete, and then we just for people's entertainment. But it's more than entertainment for us. It's our life. It's our out and part. It's us expressing ourselves where we want to be. Trying to make something better of ourselves. And unfortunately, I'm not an office worker. I can't do it. And on it way, I've always been good. Or should I say comfortable at fighting, and it's the only way I can express myself, and something gives me focus and goals, and in long run it makes me a better person, it makes me a better person to be with, it makes me a better dad, what I do, providing, and showing my daughter, you want something enough, you can achieve it, you just got to put everything into it. So I'm sure, like I say, Middleweight Champion in a short period, and yeah, I don't intend on giving up now. I'll fight to the end regardless.
Definitely not for an American. Definitely not for an American. You're Brit. You got to keep it in this country. It does not go across the pond.
Hey, man. But the thing of it is, though, is most people don't realize that I shot a third of my career in the UK. Because back in the early days, that's where most of the opportunities were, with the UK Domination Series and other aspects, and Thailand, all over, the world for me. But it's funny because a lot of my family, a lot of my true brothers come from the UK. And those are friendships and brotherhoods that I cherish, and it's funny because even Chris thinks, our banter is crazy. Americans, when they hear us talk, they're like, do you guys like each other? Do you guys even care about each other? But they don't understand that good old English banter is tremendous. What I love about the people from the UK is they will get all up in your feelings and not give two shits about your thought process. I mean, and Americans, on the other hand, they don't know how to handle that. But I do, and I've been there, and I understand your culture. People don't realize that I started with the former, light heavyweight world champion Liam McGarry back in the Isle of Jersey, just off the coast of the UK. I also Linton Vassell, and I could just keep going and going and going. But see, the thing of it is, I don't think a pond separates the love for the sport. And mate, what you brought to BKB 26, nothing can be taken from you. Like I said, everybody has a right to their own opinion. But what I love what you said is you went back and you've watched the fight over and over and over again. Now you know what you've done wrong, without giving anybody, the win or the loss or the draw. But what you said that really sits in my heart is that this has to be ran back. Yeah. And that right there shows the type of character and the man that you are. Mate, I have nothing but respect for you. You talk about your daughter. I have a 36-year-old son, and he's my best friend in life. Yeah. So to hear you talk about your daughter, the change your life for your daughter, the community service things that you do, mate, you're a warrior. And screw what my opinion is, screw what everybody else's opinion is. May the best fighter win in the rematch. because I respect you, mate. You know, see, the reason I hit you up in your inbox to have you on the show is because I like to tell both sides of everybody's story. Nobody knows who Anthony Holmes is here in America, you know, but I will say for some of your mates to come at me sideways was cool, because I'll give them it right back. You know, I don't give two shits about what they think about me, because, you know, they're entitled, like I said, they're entitled to their opinion. And, you know,
there's only two people that's going to decide on rematch, and that's going to be me and Chad, isn't it? Hopefully we won't leave it to judges this time. And given character I've seen, I know he'll be training hard for it. Listening to his interview, you know, changing his sleep pattern and that to adjust to UK, it shows me, and putting a 10x10 ring in, so it showed me just how dedicated and serious he is about his training. Yeah, a few things I've probably overlooked, and again, I've listened, I'm switched on, and I won't overlook them again.
Let me ask you one more question before I pass it back to Chris. This second fight will be a new chapter for Anthony Holmes.
Yeah.
If you had to open up the book of Anthony Holmes and go to the second chapter and write down your thoughts going into the second war with Chad Kelly, what would that statement say, mate?
I was going to say, I'm going to show him a true champion. I won't shy away from adversity. I won't turn down hard fights. I mean, I could avoid the fight, but I'm not. That's not me. I want, like I say, I want to represent BKB well. I want to represent the Holmes name well. I fight for another reason. When my dad passing him away 2 years ago, I was supposed to fight for a world title when the day he passed away. So, like I say, I want to make the Holmes name, you know, in a favour, put the Holmes name out there, show him my respect. You know, I still believe he's there with me. That's why I kissed Sky, didn't ring before when they announced my name. Like I say, I'll represent the UK, represent me, and I'll represent BKB to the best I can.
No, I'll disagree with you there. You represent your daughter.
Yeah, do it with my family.
Yeah. You know, see, I bring this up a lot on my shows lately because I, for one, did this myself. I used to be gone 40 weeks a year. Yeah. You know, we give praise to our friends, we give praise to this and that, but what about the unforgotten people that created you, Anthony?
Yeah.
You know, what about the people that are on your side that truly never get any credit? Yeah. You know, your daughter, your mom, your other people in your life. What would you like to say to those people, the unsung heroes that stand side by side with you, that have pushed you and got you to this point in your life? What would you like to say to them, mate?
I don't have the best relationship with my mum. I love her to bits, but unfortunately, you know, we've never been. There's been quite a lot of things come off. There's a lot of violence I was brought up with. That's why I went off rails a bit as a dig. I didn't know how to deal with past traumas, and turned to violence a lot myself. But I'll always love her. My mother, she brought me into this world. My daughter, she's been my heart. You know, I've always fought for her anyway. They brought me out when I went to prison and I had to speak to her. You know, Christmases, birthdays, and they all know how much I love them. I'm quite vocal. I show it. I show it. I tell them. I make sure, because I make sure every day. I tell her every day I love her, so she's well aware of that.
Yeah. See, Americans don't even get why my son is my best friend, and you know, I take him all over the world with me. And I was at an event down in Biloxi, and people said, "How is your son your best friend?" I'm like, "What are you, an ass? How can my son not be my best friend? You know, or you must see." The thing of it is, I didn't have a mother and father. I was an unwanted child, so I kind of understand where you're coming from, mate. But the thing of it is, you know, they told me I would never be a father because I didn't have a father. Yeah. But you know what, man, you're a tremendous man and you're walking. You know what? One day I would like to exchange one of these shirts for one of those shirts with you, mate. And I'd like to shake your hand face to face. And, you know, see, the thing is people, like I said earlier, you know, we both got discontent from both sides. But this is the beauty of life. You know, the thing that people don't understand is a lot of people want to go and say things, but a true man will sit here face to face with you and tell you his exact thoughts and tell you exactly what I said, which I've done. But the thing I loved most about you was your pre-fight interview. was you said this was a legacy fight for you.
Yeah.
You know, brother, nothing was taken from you, not as far as your legacy. Nothing could be taken away from what you're creating in history. You know, the thing that you need to realize and understand is legacies can be tainted and taken away, but you've created history.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if you realize this or not, but for your daughter and those that you care about, this was the first transatlantic world title fight in bare knuckle, and you
Yeah.
created history. What does it mean for Anthony Holmes to put his family's name in the history books?
Well, that's exactly that's been my goal all along. This is what I want. Like I say, with quite a bit of pressure actually going in, which, like I say, I'll handle a bit better next time. But this, I've always asked. I said these are the fights I sort of want. All my other fights have been plain sailing. I've never really had any adversity, and this is the first fight I've had adversity. Yeah, even though I draw, I think it's, for me personally, it's shown I've got. If I do get a bit of adversity, I can dig in deep there. You know, regardless, I can stand in trenches and do. And I really thank Chad for that as well, for bringing that side out of me for other people to see. And this is why I look forward to running it back, just to show what sort of champion I can. I can adapt, I can change, and I can correct the wrongs.
Brilliant.
That's one of BKB's best champions, not just in the ring, but outside the ring.
Those are the lessons you learn throughout your career, though, isn't it? That, you know, you go for all these fights, and then, you know, and it's like, I suppose you say writing in a book, but you're writing it in your brain, and you can go back and you learn it, and then you come back as a better man. I think, you know, that's brilliant for everything you've come out and said. I'm interested and intrigued. You know, Don will tell you, you know, I'm predominantly, you know, mixed martial arts guy, so I've thrusted myself into bare knuckle, and I'm still learning everything as I go along. And I watched your fight today, and I was mesmerized by it with you and Chad Kelly, because it was just absolute passion and wanting to win, and both of you going great guns for it. And, you know, you can see at the end of the seventh round, you both blew all your gasket out the water. And it was fascinating to watch. For someone like me that's still learning the ropes of bare knuckle itself, it's a great advertisement for someone to watch it and go, actually, you don't have to watch UFC and Bellator all the time.
Yeah.
There's a place right here that needs more eyes on it. And you guys put a great advertisement on for everybody in the world to come and watch these sort of fights.
Well, given where it's at the minute, I believe we're pioneers at sport, so given it's on it early days, so that's another goal. Like the UFC, Randy Couture, my favourite fighter, you know, winning titles at 45, you know, I look up to him. That's when I started back, you know, starting back in my later years, in my 30s. So at the beginning, I think I'm too old, and then I started looking at Randy, George Foreman in boxing. I'm thinking, sure, you're too old. Get your central training, and you know, it's all in your head, isn't it? So, and that I say again, with Chad, best I can describe that fight is two stags locking arms. We were just clashing in the middle, and neither walked to back in. You know, it were a very gaudy fight, one for fans. And the thing with UFC, MMA, a lot, especially with wrestling taking over quite a bit now, people are more excited about the stand-up aspect. Don't get me wrong, like Khabib and that dominating Oliveira at the minute with the wrestling. But people don't want to see that. People want to see the gaudy stand-up and bang, and that's what you get in bare knuckle. This is why, in a couple of years, I think it's going to take over. It's going to take over boxing. It's going to take over UFC. But this is why I'm proud to be a part of it now, and this I want to be classed as one of the pioneers and be remembered as like yearly for your Coleman and that in the UFC, and your Randy Couture in UFC. So it'll be good, you know, see where it does progress in next 10 years, and hopefully be classed as one of the big pioneers.
You definitely have an intro, wouldn't you? With you and Chad, either both fights, depending on how the second one goes, but you definitely have an intro. When they're going through the later years, if you think ahead and see if bare knuckle does boom, and then you two would be set in stone as an intro. Even if it's a couple of seconds, you can pick so many good points out of that fight that when bare knuckle does explode, you two are going to be right there in the mix.
Wait a minute. When bare knuckle does explode, bro, bare knuckle's already exploding. You know,
but
and
you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying.
from the, I'm looking at the levels where, you know, UFC boxing is, you know, I'm just looking at it metaphorically.
Yeah, well, take your Welsh pride, man, and I understand it, bro. But the thing of it is,
Don't have Welsh pride.
I'm giving you shit, bro. The thing of it is I get so much shit in my career, bro. It's like because I started in boxing, and my first fight was a world title fight, and it happened to be in the UK. And I separated myself from boxing and then went to No Holds Barred, Pride and Glory. And then I came back in at UFC 3 in 1994. So I get shit on a lot because people say, Don, you're going bare knuckle? Well, I interviewed the first fighters from the first event in the United States in bare knuckle history with the Bare Knuckle Fighting Federation with Boss Root. I was part of the promotion. Then BKFC came along, and the colonel over there at BKFC, I really don't care too much or give two shits about that man. He could chub on this, you know. But the thing of it is, I interviewed all of his fighters, but I fell in love with bare knuckle.
Yeah.
And then I got an opportunity to meet Mike Vasquez from BYB. And I told him, you know, mate, for the first time in 37 years, I met a promoter that I like. I can't find nothing wrong with Mike Vasquez or Dada. And so I think it's great because I know most of the upper echelon of BKB. And I think it's great that two entities from across the pond can shake hands and not have to have it on paper, but yet create one of the largest bare knuckle aspects in the world. And you're right. It's new. It's fresh. I do think it's going to take over the UFC. I do think it's going to take a lot of retrospects away from boxing because boxing is pretty much having a hard time anyway right now. But
all top fighters are avoiding each other, whereas bare knuckle, there's no hiding. It's just, right, it don't matter what stage you're at, right, you'll fight him. There's no... And the lads and the mindset what you've got in it, they're looking for the hard fights, maybe odd one or two, but they soon get outed and they're not lost in the career long.
I love it because it's raw. It's just raw. You really take the sport of boxing and you just take the gloves off, and you know, and then you shorten the rounds, so you have no choice but to go to war with your opponent. This is the most exhilarating aspect of I've ever felt in the sport. I mean, let's face it, bro. I mean, I love boxing and Muay Thai. They're two of my favorites. But MMA, I don't even, dude, I've shot so many years in MMA that I don't even watch. They're so inundated. I don't even watch the UFC or Bellator except if one of my friends is on the card. You know, I had gifted Gabe Green, who's getting ready to fight Ian Gary, who you think is going to beat my homie, but you know, I had him on last night. But the thing about it is, bare knuckling is the truest form of the sport. You go back, I think it's to 1863 or 1861, something like that, with John L. Sullivan. And I commend the people that brought bare knuckle to the forefront. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be sitting in front of Anthony Holmes. I wouldn't be able to understand your perception of the war that you were just in, or the man behind that world title. I'm going to ask you a question that is probably going to be a little bit different for you than you've ever been asked.
Yeah.
Take me to that night after the fight. You're sitting in your hotel room, and you get a brief moment to look at yourself in the mirror. What did you take away from that moment?
Just enjoyable. Not just that, but straight away I were watching fight. I was watching fight in taxi back. Just replay. I've not stopped thinking about the fight, and I won't stop thinking about the fight until we lock arms again. That's just sort of person who I am. I'm my own worst critic, as you've seen on straight after interview. I pulled apart my points straight away. And I believe the champion's got to do that. If I had not to pull on, I'd just set myself up for another loss. So I have to critique myself, go to a drawing board and make sure nothing happens goes against me, and I perform to my best and no don't get distracted or lose a mindset throughout.
Yeah. Let me restructure that just a little bit before I hand it to Chris. You know, really, at the end of the day, two tremendous warriors stepped into that ring, and they beat the shit out of each other.
Fucking too right, they did.
And nobody gained anything. You know, you didn't lose anything, but you didn't gain anything. But you gained respect. You guys gained respect for each other.
Yeah,
you guys.
I think not just for each other, but I think the people looking in. I mean, anybody who wants to step in ring for us as well, like other opponents against either one of us, are going to see it's going to be no easy. They're not going to have a walkover. Just because they cut us up a bit, it's not over. So they're going to have to hit us with a sledgehammer. That's the only way we're going to go down. As I think we both took some clean shots.
Yes,
we just shook our heads and went straight back in. So, so I like to say, I think that's put a massive statement out there for anybody who wants to compete. It's earned respect on the fan side. I think we've gained a lot of fans either side from it. So I think it is a win-win all round for both of us, to be honest with you. It might have been class of the draw, but I think the sport's gained. I think we've gained fans, and we've gained a lot of experience from that fight.
Well, mate, you gained a fan in me, bro. I mean,
thank you,
Chris,
and a newcomer here as well. I was saying to Don, you know, we always talk about, you know, like journalists like me who are new to the scene, and you know, when I had my old co-host with me, we break down fights, and we usually always get to the British cards, and you know, I'd be a bit biased because, you know, us Brits can be biased with each other because, you know, we follow our own into battle, don't we? As British people do. But you know, I'm seeing things differently, and then I watched your fight today, and I had to sort of bite my tongue, like, you know, right, look at it as like Anthony Holmes is not British, right? You know, I had to sort of put myself away from it. But what we do, as I feel, as a country, as much as we blow a lot of fans over the world watching an actual combat sport, because I think we do, we also like great fights. And say if our hometown hero lost, and it was just one of those sort of fights, we'd also clap and cheer the guy that beat him, because, you know, I mean, okay, we are biased with our own, but we appreciate good fighters and we appreciate good fights. I think we've always been like that as a country for years. You know, you rocking out and coming, you know, to the ring, what's it like feeling from your fans? Is you know, before you're about to engage?
I mean, I think I'm quite emotional. If you listen to tracks I play as well, it's what I'm feeling, you know, what I'm thinking, where my head's at. And on the music I play, I'm quite an emotional character. I wear me out on my sleeve. I'm quite open about everything, and I don't like. So, like I say, I did carry quite a bit weight on. Obviously, I did feel the pressure that night. I won't lie. But again, I know what caused it. What sort of thinking caused it. Walking in there, I mean, I love the atmosphere. I get quite a lot of cheers and stuff. I seem to be picking up quite a decent following. And I get getting texts from all over the world, which it's nice to be appreciated. People seeing hard work I put in, and
You deserve it, mate.
People to reach out to me, because a few's listened to my story as well, and it's inspired them. It's inspired a few, starting to inspire people around our area. So it's giving me a sense of pride, but also, like I say, my family's seeing this as well, and so I'm hoping they think the same and they're proud too. And like I say, everything I do, I always talk to my father, who's up above. Still talk to him now, even though he's passed, and I'm hoping to meet him one day again. And then, to hear those words, he's proud of me as well. So that's
you will, mate. You will.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does, mate.
See, that's man, Anthony, I love you more than I thought I actually would, bro. Because even though you're across the pond, you know, reality is reality, man. And I didn't have a father, but I had a man that I call my grandfather, and I lost him, and still to this day, I'm pissed off at the world because I lost the man that created me, and I lost a part of me when he died. A part of me died. So I feel you, mate. You know, and it's like, but believe me, you know, I don't know how you are spiritually, but I feel that they're looking down upon us and giving us well wishes and pushing us forward. You know, the thing that I wanted to eloquate on today's show with you is that I think you're a tremendous man in your walk. You know, we could take our, like I said, we could take our opinions after today's show and throw them out the damn window because they really don't mean two shits.
Yeah.
But what I see in front of me is an honorable man, a man that went out there and gave the best that he had, and a man that truly deserves a second opportunity. I'm with you. I think you should be the main card on the next BKB when you do face Chad Kelly. I think the world recognizes this fight, because if I recognized it, trust me, I watched it live because I knew Mike Vasquez was going to be there, and but I also knew your fight. I looked up a little bit on you and I saw your MMA record. Why did you walk away from MMA?
Again, through injury, and I was in a very bad relationship at the time. Again, injured, I couldn't keep one of the shows, but I kept asking me to stay ready for a month after. The fighters kept pulling out, my knee went, and then just off back of that, I just went into self-destruct mode. Split up the relationship I was in, that went messy. And one thing left it over, ended up fighting on weekends, going out. Again, I've never been able to control my emotions till I got later into my 30s. And then ended up sadly in prison. And then when you're in those cells, something just, what am I doing with my life? Where am I at? You know, it gets a lonely place, banged up 23 hours a day, speaking to your daughter on birthdays and Christmases. And it's heartbreaking every time they come to visit you and then go. And knowing you're not there how you should be. So something had to change. Head had to change, and yeah, I'm here now.
You're a brilliant man. You really are. And you know, the one thing I would like to say is that when you do get this opportunity, I would like to have you on my show and this show again. You know, my show is a little bit, you know, I'm correlated with Big Fight Weekly, but I also have my own show, and I also have a syndicated show. I want the world to know who Anthony Holmes is, because I believe you deserve that opportunity. But in all fairness, too, I gave Chad Kelly an opportunity to make a statement to you in my interview. What statement would you like to make to Chad Kelly upon the next meeting?
There's no statement. I mean, what will prevail will prevail. I'm sure I'm going to give it 100%. I know where the character he is. I know I won't take anything for granted this time. I did take, you know, a few things for granted. I will. He's got me full focus. He's got me full. He's gonna have the best version of Anthony Holmes. Win, lose or draw. There'll be no else. As long as I walk out of that ring knowing I'll give 100%, that's exactly what I'll get. I'm going to show I'm a true champion, and I don't shy away from adversity, and I will give you 110% in this fight, as I know he will. So let's put on another great show.
That's dope, because you're adversity created, and so am I. So a lot of people don't understand that. You know, I came from a really fucked up life, but I made the best of it. And you're doing that, mate. And man, it was an honor to get this opportunity. I mean, you know, I'll be honest with you. I was a little pissed off with all the hate that I've been getting, but me and Chris had a talk before the show, and you know, Chris said, I don't think none of that's coming from Anthony. And it's quite obvious none of it came from you. You know, you're a true gentleman and a classy warrior. And so I respect you. And, you know, honestly, you're a lot more humble than I thought you would be. You know, you're a lot more classier than I thought you would be. You know, you're an honorable man, and I respect people who respect me, brother. And I can't wait for the second war, because the world needs to know who the true champion is.
They do.
Chris? Yes, sir.
I'm definitely intrigued for another fight between you both.
Right?
Definitely. I'm pulled in now, so I'm plain sailing. I'm not looking at anything else. I just want to see you two go at it again, personally.
I get they all clear. I mean, I was suffering with my vision for after the fight, but it is a lot better than what it was. It is at left eye. It has cleared up. I couldn't really see much out of it, completely blurry. But they said it just might be from impact. It cleared up. I've got to go back for tests, I think, 2 weeks now. But all clear. I know it's a lot better than what it was. So we'll be rearranging. We'll be arranging a date soon. So.
Before I let you go, this is a different question for me, but Don's heard me ask many fighters this before we've had them on. When you look back, when it's all said and done, and you've got the next breed of any type of combat sports person, a mixed martial artist, a person who wants to be in bare knuckle, a boxer, what would you say to the next generation of just people that want to get involved in this sport?
It's for me. You've got to be fully dedicated. It's got to be a way of life, not just a hobby. You've got to put everything into it. You are gonna get caught out at some point if you don't. But if you want something bad enough, you make those changes, make those sacrifices, and you put it all in to get what you want. And you've got to believe it as well to achieve it. There's no truer saying than that.
I'm going to add one more thing before we kind of wrap things up. A great brother of mine, James Krause, who fights in the UFC, was given an interview. And the guy goes, "What's it like to be 22-7? And James went, "Huh." He said, "I'm not 22-7. I'm 22-0 with 7 lessons learned."
That's it.
Mate, if you could take away anything from today's interview, I don't fucking like records, mate. I don't. I think records are bullshit. I think whoever the hungrier fighter is that night is the hungrier fighter, because I had a guy on that he lost his first 6 fights, was getting ready to leave. And I told him, mate, you can't leave, man. You got this far. And within 2 years after that, he became the world champion.
Yeah.
And so I respect you because you didn't let adversity hold you down. You turned that adversity and created greatness. So, you know what? Go out and show the world this next opportunity. Both you and Chad are tremendous men in your walk. And I got to be honest with you, man. I respect both of you more than I ever thought I would, because you guys put it on each other. I mean, there was no holding back, but like I said,
that's to prove it.
Yeah, right. You certainly have. Is anything else? Is anything you'd want to give a shout out to, Anthony?
No, I could just thank you to everybody who supported me throughout. People who believe in me, the sponsors, what's helped me, train, and the young pups I've got coming up now. I do a lot of coaching, and they're driving me quite a bit as well. Seeing them progress and me passing my knowledge on, and that gives me a bit of fire in me as well to watch them, look up to me and me do well and push them on as well. So just appreciate everybody who's backing me, supporting me, and wishing me the best.
One more thing before we let you go. What would you like to say to BKB and BYB for giving you this opportunity, mate?
BKB, give me more money. Obviously, they've helped turn me life around, the direction where I've gone, they've been a big hand in it. Spoke to Jim about this. Sometimes me and Jim don't see eye to eye. We'll clash a bit, but like I said to him before, I'm quite open. I'm happy being a pioneer at sport. The lads who I've got training, the young lads, I've got 2 of the youngest in BKB. They're giving good statements of themselves, and they'll probably see the good money side of it as well. So, like I said, I just appreciate it, and I'm glad BYB have come together. So I think it's a brilliant, camaraderie, companionship.
Yeah,
it'll just help us grow, and the rest of the world will get to see us.
And more fights for you to have as well, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the only thing I could still argue with you about is an American biscuit compared to a biscuit in the UK.
Oh, don't start this now.
Anthony, man, I appreciate you, mate. You're a humble, kind warrior, and
cheers.
It's great to see that a man like you truly loves this sport and doesn't have a swollen head, because we all know what happens in this sport, but you know what? Continue your greatness, continue your path, and whoever the winner may be in this next war deserves it.
Yeah.
And on that note, mate, give your daughter a hug and realize that the world will know who Anthony Holmes is, because you are created and you're added to the history book as a BKB 26. Wear it proud, mate. Wear it proud. Chris?
Again, echo everything Don's just said, mate. I really appreciate you giving your time to us to come on and have a chit chat. Maybe not talk about biscuits, Don, but because yours are wrong. Let's put it this way: we don't put biscuits with gravy over here. But honestly, mate, I really appreciate it. I'm obviously now fully focused on watching your career go from here, and I'm obviously going to be a big fan of yours, especially because you fly the British flag, and obviously I'm biased on I Don. So thank you very much, mate. I definitely want to get you back on whenever it's possible again after you've had your second fight with Chad Kelly.
Yeah, definitely.
One second though. Now I'm the one that's really screwed here, because
Right.
I like Anthony and I like Chad, so I can't even root for either one of them. I can't root for either one of them. I appreciate you, mate. God bless you. And
it was appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
All right.
Take
Peace,
care.
man.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. See you, mate.
Man, I love the guy. I absolutely love the guy, bro.
Yeah. You know what I told you? Those Brits are just we're good guys, you know.
You're
Humble,
not.
fantastic. I'm not a good guy, no, but you know what? I'm honest about that. You know what I mean? You and your biscuits and bloody gravy, mate.
Well, you're a bloody prick. So what's the difference?
Just not much, to be honest with you. No, honestly, Anthony Holmes, brilliant guy, humble
Class
as
act.
fuck. Humble as fuck.
Class act, yeah.
Shared the
Well,
story
you see,
and really intrigued me all the way through this interview.
but you know that I've been being attacked, you know, and the thing of it is you and I both said before the show, we don't think this is coming from Anthony Holmes.
Yeah.
And obviously it wasn't. And man, he gained a new fan today. But really, I'm not gonna pick on the next fight. I mean, I love Chad Kelly, but I equally respect Anthony Holmes. So I mean, you know what? After that 7-round war, like he said, there's only one way to settle this, because half of his friends see it one way, the other half see it another way, half of my friends see it one way. It's got to happen. You know, BYB, BKB, you got the fight of the year on your hands. Make
Definitely.
it happen.
And put it as your main fight. As your main fight. Before we go, actually, we are back here on Wednesday as well, aren't we, Don? With Joe Elmore. 8 o'clock.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
forget that one. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you very much.
Hold on, man. I get to say my farewells. We still got a minute and a half, mate.
Don't. Fire away, kid.
You know, make sure you check out the original Fighter's Voice with Don McGuire. I do everything from Muay Thai to boxing to MMA to Jello wrestling. No, I'm joking.
Jello wrestling. I put your link to description to Don's Facebook page for his Fighter's Voice is in the description below. So click on that.
I just want to say thank you to all of the United Kingdom. You know, you people have really, I don't know, changed my life in a lot of ways. You know, Chris even says I'm not even supposed to be American, because I can hang with the banner with the best of the English people. But you know, I will get up in your feelings just like you do mine. But you know what? Life is short. Love each other, give each other shit. But at the end of the day, we all still have to exist. And on that note, God bless you all, man.
See you all Wednesday.